Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Yeah, yes. It's a good evening. Good evening. No, it's a good morning. We are used to mornings. My name is Sebza, guys, and thank you very much for joining us this morning. All good, all good. How's the market? And how's the London session now? We're hoping everything is fine wherever you are. Right. So we're gonna be here and we're doing fine. Right. Right. Okay. Welcome. Uh, Let me just invite some other guys that you know who may want to join us in today's London session. Right, let me just switch now to our charts and then go to the London session. Right, so what has the session done for us today? It's a Tuesday. We believe and hope that there could be something that can come through for us. If it's educational for anybody joining, that would be great. But if it's something that you are kind of also monitoring, that's good. We can monitor together. So that's a good thing. If you've got any questions, let them post. So let me just do this. Welcome everyone. Welcome everybody joining us now. We are going to be looking at the London session and how it's doing currently. So just skip, don't change your channel. We're going to be checking if there would be any breakouts or if there are breakouts that we can take opportunities or we can take advantage of rather. So I'm still trying to get the guys out there. We're going to be here until we'll see perhaps we could be here until half past 11. It's just about 5 minutes to 11. And the market has been open now for just about a 3 hours now, just about 3 hours or so. into the London session. It's a cold weather in Joburg, and we hope that maybe we could have some nice pips to warm us up. So let's look at it. I'm looking to see if I'm really monitoring the pound and the yen to see if there would be a breakout there. We still don't have a breakout. As you can see, I'm monitoring it on the daily time. It's just on a 4-hourly time frame. Even if I can go to the H4 time frame, we're just expecting it to drop to the bottom, but that would not be to accompany it right now to the bottom would not be a good idea. So one is not thinking of, but we're expecting that the pound should drop for the day today. We'll finish the day, perhaps the session week, right? And then from there, we could be seeing the strength of the dollar. If it breaks this current chart, then I think many of the guys would be extremely happy to be trading it. So we really are on this flag. So we are monitoring this bearish flag. It could perhaps want to go up first. We'll see. Could it want to go up first? Before it can drop. So that's your M30H1 setup. Perhaps, then before it can drop, that's when I think some of the guys would be interested or nibbling on it. Still good pips for an intraday trader. That's the pound and the yen. Still good for an intraday trader right there. If you look at it, that would be very good amount of money for an intraday trader. There's a lot of buy-in there. You can see the spinning top candle on an hourly base, on an hour that has just formed right there. So one is expecting to see some form of bullishness from now. Perhaps, like I said, could it finish bullish? We'll see, but there is a opportunity right now that it could just go up some few pips. Again, let me just check on H1 that we could be seeing the market going up there first, and then let's check, it could be going up just about 50 pips before it can drop some 100 pips. Right, so it's good for an intraday trader, a scalper there, about 80 pips. So if you're looking to scalp, perhaps that's what you could be looking at. A nice buy there, just on a scalping basis. I don't like doing this, and I like rather to take a sell at the supply. So I would be having a sell limit myself right there. Should be happy with that. So I would rather have a sell limit for the day, right at that. It's not a supply per se, it's just resistance. Perhaps it's a supply on H1. I'll go check it. So one should be kind of nibbling. I don't like to take too much risk around this level because the price can still break to the upside. So just showing you on how you can trade a micro account and then just keep going down with it. That's a resistance. Does look like it's an H4 supply. Yes, that's it. Looks like there's a very nice sell at this level that has happened before. There's a nice engulfing there, engulfing a pin bar to the bullish side. So looking good for the sellers here. There's another defender. There's another engulfing. There's some pin bars right on this resistance I'm engulfing. So the resistance line seems to be well defended. Stop loss should be above the trend line. But remember, as I'm showing you right now, that it does not really make any sense to be trading inside this intraday channel, but as I say, we're different. If you don't have much time, it still makes sense to be selling. Let me just say that. Let's just look at how it dropped from there, making the flag, and what is the target. As I said, the target could be shorter or equal to this point. I think it's going to be just much more shorter. I will take the shorter version because of the support that I'm seeing there. That's exactly what I'm saying. So I'll take a shorter version of this leg. I don't see an equal leg coming through from this movement because that has already happened. So there it is. So we started with the pound and the yen. That's the cross of the two guys. So that's where it is now. So we can see that the pound is pretty much looking like it would still chop today between this flag, the bearish flag could drop the price right up to the support which are called the intraday key support pretty much for me. So whether that intraday key support will break or not, I think that's for us to see. It could still bounce the price because the dailies could still be overbought. So if you're still interested in the intensity of the London session, it looks like there's going to be a drop first. Like the first, let's just say that from where we are right now, we're expecting for the next session for the pound to gain. Perhaps during the New York session, then it could drop. So in terms of session, if you're talking session, perhaps the London session will keep, adding to the hours there because this is an hourly time frame. So perhaps that's the first hour, nicely bullish, spinning top. You can see the order logs there. You can see the rejection candles that are happening there. Like I said, for those who are interested, they could be running on it. There's lots and lots of meaning to that. There's a harmonics pattern that have just formed right there at the bottom. So there are way too many reasons why you could be trying to trade this. I'm not interested. Like I said, I really don't want to be risking everything or so much for just 40 pips. It may not just be worth it. So, but it is. We're talking about the price at support right now. So that's what we are. So we're trading this harmonic patterns. A pattern rather, it's a bullish one. Could take should be able to take the price to the upside indeed around 155 with a tight stop loss. And then from there, like I said, of course, let me just put it clear. I have got no problem with those who want to trade this pair, All right, but if you're going to be wanting to be key about it, sometimes they want, I know that some are using this trend line, which is, I won't beat you up that much if you're using this support. It's not a bad one at all because it's the intraday, that's the breakout. So this suggests that the price may still go to the downside, but if it doesn't, even if there it is, you could be using this to say, coach, it's gone. Then let's still, looks like it still could retest. Even if we're trading this, there could still be some form of retest there again. It's the same thing there. It's still going up to find this retest again before it can drop. So either way you look at it, we're still hoping and seeing that the price could still go back to the upside, even if we're using this line as the support that is broken. Okay, the dynamics could be different there. You need to be watching that because then at the same time you could be having some other guys who are looking to be looking at this as a head shoulder, as an inverse head and shoulder pattern. So we really need to be very careful what the market throws to you, but for now I will settle for the bearish side. Personally, I think that the bearish side makes sense because the price has not yet touched the support, and that's the support I'm looking for. Something must bring the price here. I'm coming from that point that something must bring the price here first. So this price must be delivered to this point, and I believe this could be the line, or that could be the level that can bring the price to the bottom side. That's what I think. That's what I think could happen here. Right, that's the GJ. What pair of the pound or what pair of the London session would you like us to deal with? Just tell us, let us know. Which pair would you like to deal with? I don't know where you're joining us from. If you're joining us from Facebook, welcome. If you're joining us from YouTube, most welcome. Wherever you're joining from, we appreciate. Right. So in the next 25 minutes or so, it looks like when I look at the market, I'm just seeing a quiet, still market. Perhaps many traders have already left because they like coming in the first hour of the London session. So it is a quiet market. I must emphasize, pretty quiet market. The beginning was a good one. The session, I think the guys who came in the early hours of the session should definitely be happy with this kind of movement. You can see that just from the beginning of the session, there was a nice movement. The session just started somewhere there. So there was a nice movement to the downside, as we always expected, 30 pips, and then I think they left. Looks like they have left now. Nice movement. That's what makes the session to be opened just around, this one was just around 10 o'clock. The session opened somewhere there, flat, and then there is some form of a big volatility that has happened right there. This is 7:45, and that's the 8 o'clock. So the session started. So that's the session so far. Here we are in the session. There's the session. So this is just our session trading there. That's 1/4 past, that's 5 past, that's 8. So there it is. That's our session there. Nice volatility there, showing the Tokyo, not really winding up, but just before the opening, the Tokyo was still pretty much pushing the pound to the downside during the Tokyo session. And then looks like more sell happened when the New York opened. So far we really are not on any. We just need to check where will this go. Will the bearish sentiments continue? But yes, it started on the bearish sentiment from even the pound yen. You see the pound has started on some form of a bearish sentiment. So that's where we started. So a lot of fight there, but I can see that just when the Tokyo broke this level, then these guys never went to it. And that's why the sell was so big on that side. The retest of that broken range make it such a difficult thing to recover the pound during the session. So what do you expect now? We expect the pound to be dropping. I then expect the pound against the dollar to be dropping further down from this point. As I said, that we really are expecting a bearish pound largely. The bearish pound is picked up there. There is anything that can move up, or even from these levels, there's nothing that can stop the pound from coming down. So we're expecting the pound to be weakening during this session. Generally, if we can just take note of what happened, from the point of what happened, there it is. Again, you can see that the pound Swiss franc also did not have a very good start there. Wow, what a fall against the franc. Watch that, still falling right now on M30 minutes. A big shading there of some points against the Swiss franc. That's a big drop. That's a big drop for the session. That's a big drop. So it looks like the big drop was on the other side. So where is the opportunity to trade? I think that's what you should be asking. Where is the opportunity to see some? Where are the opportunities here, coach? I think that's the big question, to say that when you come to the session, will you get some opportunities to trade? I see none. I'm just seeing the price doing crazy things right now. If you can look at this is kind of broken. Though these are patterns that just appears out of nowhere. So yes, in this case, still negative, expected to be bouncing there, then bounce to the downside. I'm looking at the M15 chart, go there 3, 4, and then we're expecting a 5 to the further to the downside. So it is bearish. I must just mention that. If you are trading, there it is. There's 100, should be coming to the 161.8. Then from there could be going back up again. We'll see. But yes, we're expecting a deeply bearish pound against the Swiss franc. I think for me that's what resonates a lot there. That when I look at this, I'm seeing a deeply bearish against the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc seems like it's gonna be riding with this one in this ranging market. Remember, when you look at the intraday level, we are really pretty much in a ranging market. So when you look at it, the scalpers could be happy, but this joy that they have is it's really not something that can last, or that the intraday traders and the swingers can really write home about. We are not interested at this, but because you are not interested does not mean everybody shouldn't be interested. That's what's happening within the scroll of the buyers and the sellers. It's equal number of bulls and bears in this channel currently since April the 8th. So it's been April, May, June. We're on the third month of just a ranging market of the pound Swiss franc. What a fight. I always like to tell you, this is an amazing fight. So now the pound is losing, the Swiss franc is retaining the favor, pushing it to the downside, and looks like it's going to be pushing it back to the same support. Who will break? Will it be the resistance that's going to break out? We don't rush these things. This is a bearish consolidation. So in this case, the pound is still under pressure, but we'll see who will ultimately break, because it's a range, it's a rectangle. When you look at the dailies, we call this a bearish rectangle. So there it is, it's a rectangle. So it should be able to, or maybe the bias is on the negative side, should be able to count it to the negative side. What an amazing coach. What an amazing setup right there. I'm loving this. What I'm seeing from the inside of that range, it's a very nice, it's a very nice level of, if this price could break clearly according to my Fib level, that's the target. That's where it looks like it's gonna go. There's this nice small daily demand there that happened. What an amazing analysis. I always get impressed, sometimes shock myself with this kind of analysis. There it is. If you're mathematical, this should not be a problem. If you're using the Fibonacci, it's a wonderful time. So you can see that this looks very, very good. Wouldn't be interested, like I said, but if you're joining us, just coming in right now, you're seeing lots and lots of opportunities for small traders, for short-term traders. They can make something out of it on M5 basis. There is the pullback coming. Should be going back to that neckline and then plummet again to the downside. For me, it's in the middle of a range, and I will not be interested. Let's see how the GBP USD is doing. Also, it is flocking to the downside, still on the down. Nice rejections by the sellers of the buyers there on those 40 minutes or so. Defended their point heavily, so they should be going to the downside, according to me. So that's what you're looking at right now. What would you like us to look at? What would you like us to look at? Would you like us to look at this? We have to remember in one of the London sessions we have looked at this. So this looks like it's still pretty much valid. I think it does look now like the price would have to go down first, the euro. So just light weakness of the euro, and then from there we can see a very big rally of the euro against the pound. That's what we're waiting to see there. So could go further down, or it could be stopped there. We'll see which one it will take. Right. So there's another moment there where we could see the price coming from this point, dropping pretty much to this Fib zone 2. Okay, the Fib zone 2. And then from dropping from the Fib zone 2, then we should be expecting it to go up and then drop for the last time, if it gets the opportunity around that 76.4 Fib zone, then going right, rallying there. We thought that we would be getting a parabolic move here, but we have not gotten any. So that's what we are looking at. I also do not like the Euro GBP because of the stalemate there. Looks like both of them, when they weaken both. And when they strengthen, both of them, they strengthen. So wouldn't definitely be much more interested in any of those, not now. So that's one of the things right there. So what would you like us to look in the next 15 minutes? We will be wrapping it up, and then from there we're going to be meeting for the New York session. We will be doing the New York session. If we don't have a boring London session, then we can discuss an active New York session. What does New York session have for us? Or let's look at the fundamentals. How do the fundamentals look like during this session? The fundamentals aren't fundamentals for me. I'm checking them with you. Could there be something that can blow the wind during this session, waiting for the Tokyo to finish first, and then from there perhaps blow the wind at the London Stock Exchange so that it shakes things up a little bit? Because of stability, since the declining of the number of infections and the coronavirus, kind of stabilizing, steady in the UK, we see that the market does not experience that much of unexpected moves Everything seems to be, certainty seems to have come right now. Everybody's taking caution before, but right now it seems like since the vaccination program is rolled out and the number of infections decline and the number of deaths, now the markets are beginning to be pretty confident now that trade can go back to normal. Business can back to normal, not in a very usual way, but the new normal that they talk about. So what are we saying? Yes, we are not going to be having any further news. Doesn't mean like we will be having any further news on the side or during this session, but the next news that are going to be coming seems like it's going to be coming from the New York session or during the New York session. But London session news, the euro has just finished. They're dropping some news there. I will go to the euro again. I will just check how the euro is doing against the yen. I've already checked how the euro is doing against the pound. So there is the euro, the GDP year to year has dropped 1.3 rather. They had expected a drop of -1.8. By the way, remember that the negative on the GDP side indicates a retraction or loss, or rather no growth. So the negative 1.3 instead of 1.8, which is better than expected, because already they had priced in -1.8. Because it's a better news than expected, we expect the news to go through. But the concerning thing that this looks like indeed the euro is now in recession, because this looks like it's a negative growth for the third quarter. No, it's not for the third quarter. No. This quarter they expected it to be negative 0.3, rather negative 0.6, and it dropped negative 0.3. So it's also better than expected. I need to just check if euro is in recession, because we need to be monitoring the three quarters of negative growth. So this is still a negative growth for the euro session, for the year to year, and for quarter to quarter. So let's check what impact it had, on the markets. That's what we're going to be checking right now. And then later on during the New York session, I will be very much interested on the good trade balance, that 85.3 billion of previous. The market has not factored anything, but it has just made a consensus that the trade balance for the US for goods and services is around 69 billion from negative 74.4. So that's a big trade balance there. If that is bigger than that, America would be sitting with a big order which has not yet been fulfilled. That balance is going to be very good. Let's hope that the orders have been pushed. If the figures are less, it means that they have the deficit or the balance is getting reduced. So in this case, that's what it is. Or rather, they're expecting a negative 69 trade deficit of 69 billion US dollars. So that's a reduction from 74. How will it come out like? Right. So let's go to it now. What did euro do? Did euro, even during the contraction is better? I think that's what we're saying. That the contraction is better, all right? But it doesn't mean, for the fundamentals that it's all good news. So let's look at how the euro dollar is faring, and then from there also how it could fare from this. Right, let me share back to the chart. Right, I'm back to the charts. Right, euro, like I said, I've started with euro. Oh, what a nice move right there, as we expected yesterday. Did exactly that to the downside. So we're expecting the price to be going, using, just do that. As was the resistance, we're just waiting for the last move of this ABC move. Please note that this ABC move has not yet been completed. It could be completed there, right at that where AB, there it is, where ABCD move could be stopped right at that point, as we said, kicking a nice, right. So we're still expecting the euro in the meantime to drop. So will they, the news did not look like they would stop the people. There it is, there's the start, there's the start. Just from that 11 o'clock, this has been an hour now from the, this has been 30 minutes rather, within the same 30 minutes from the news release. You can see that the market seems not to be happy with the contraction of the GDP, you know, the contraction of the economy of euro. Though it's better than expected, but bottom line is that we are still having a contraction. I just need to check my facts if this means a recession. If that contraction, no matter how better it is, has been going on now for the third week, for the third quarter in consecutive quarter, then euro goes into a recession. And then if it has been going down for 2 successive quarters, then it enters the technical recession. So they say, I'm not an economist, but I do listen to what they say. And then I can just tell sometimes what they like and what they don't like. They just don't like recessions, I know, because recessions means that everybody gets squeezed and the economy just struggles, you know, to recover from recession. That's why no country wants a recession, except not like they want it. I've seen one country that survives in recession, Japan. Japan can survive in this recession. I think it's also a technical sell. By the way, you can see that the price was already coming to the resistance there, but I'd like it to go somehow further on that resistance, but that's what it is. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got anything that you want us to look at, we can look at it between now and past. We've got only 5 minutes. Drop us a single pair. Please let it be a pair that is relevant to the London session. Let us not just discuss any other pair. When we trade session, we trade what ticks in that session. We're looking at the market and we're looking at how that session would impact specific assets, in this case, specific currencies or indices. I've not yet looked at the DAX and I've also not looked at the FTSE. Perhaps those are the two that we can concentrate on, the FTSE and the DAX, and then also the Euro 50 right there. So perhaps that's what you could look at, and there's just not a problem at all to go to them. The Frank 40 is also in the bag. Perhaps you may want to look at that. Let's look at how the stock markets of Europe are doing. The German DAX is still rallying since breaking that B wave. You know, that is still rallying, making record highs. You know, that confidence, whether it will last or not, ask me, I will tell you. I'm just not liking on how the DAX is rallying at the moment. That rally, I think that is wow. I think the guys who are trading the Nasdaq would be very happy with that, with those 4 or 5 candles of bullying. Wow, nice move from 1600 to 7 in a small period of time like this. Could it be better than expected news that it has released? But how far can it go? It looks like there's a bit of fading there. I don't like what it's doing. It does get some selling, you know, that is kind of sharp there. Let's look at the momentum. If the momentum agrees with these moves, the momentum is really flat now, flat momentum on the MACD side, and then you just need to check, and it's very negative, this momentum, completely going flat on an hourly basis. So on an hourly time frame, does not look good. In fact, the M30 small time frames have already scored this trend negative, this movement negative. But where could it go? Please be careful that the Nasdaq needs a correction. Rather, the German DAX is in a desperate need for correction. Right, that's what I'm talking about. It's in a desperate need for correction. It did correct somewhere around May, right? But does not look like it's done. So there it is doing the top, but that top does not look good at all. It has got to correct. Let me just say that the DAX just needs to correct. Right, that's what I can tell you. The DAX just needs to correct. There it is. The DAX needs to make a correction. Don't see the DAX finishing this session. Should even be going. Okay, I don't see the DAX completely finishing this session. You know, the DAX needs to correct and start a new cycle. So this cycle is coming to an end. It should be coming to start another one. Let it just allow a very nice pullback, you know, and then from there move nicely up again, because that's what it does. Right? What does it do? It does drop at the top like this. So perhaps this point can be correlated to that point. In that case, then the market just need a very nice new cycle completely. Drop from there. Let me just check what is the size of the drop there. Right, that's what it needs to drop with. Just targeting this point. All right. So it's in need of this. It needs it. All right, so that's what it needs. So it needs to come there around 15, and then from there it can start a new cycle. But this cycle seems like it's getting up completely. It needs a new fresh injection of capital. That's what we're trying to say. You're looking for this kind of a pullback, a fully fledged pullback or a retracement. This one, that's what it's looking for. So looking for something like this. Backward, yeah. So that's what it is. I think might have reached its lifetime there. Could it be? Could I be right? Oh my God, that's where it is. Could be right. So this guy is targeting this level. Let me give it to you. I'm on H1, so that's the level it's targeting, right? So because it's targeting this level, 15.83, it's big money for you, for other traders. I must just mention that it's big money for them. So yes, it means a good buy, a good. I didn't even say good buy as in bye bye, you know. So, but yeah, we're expecting a drop. I'm just expecting a drop from current levels. You know, one is expecting a drop first, you know, and then from there later on during the month, that recovery can brush rubbing again back into the market. The sentiments continue, but I think that already the negative or the flat momentum suggests that some people are doing some profit taking at this level. You can't blame them. Between 15.7, 15,700 and 15,800, there's only 100 points, you know. I mean, how do you risk the entire 1,000 points of your portfolio for just 100 points? So yes, I wouldn't be surprised that some fund managers and some institutions are taking profit around this level. Wouldn't blame them at all, you know. I wouldn't blame them at all. So there is our ABCD coming to effect in the NASDAQ. I know it's getting complicated. It's not easy. It's not every analyst who get these things right. So you must remember that. So thank you very much, guys, for keep on coming in. I was just breaking down the DAX there for those just joining in for the first time. We're breaking down the NASDAQ, the DAX, you know, the German 30 in the midst of the we are breaking down the German 30 in the midst of the news that have just come through right now at 11 o'clock, according to our South African time. Euros, that's released the data that shows that Euros GDP has contracted for I think this could be the second quarter of 2021, Q2. So because we are now entering I think on Q2, I think it's Q1. I will just check that. But quarter to quarter statistics shows that there was a contraction of the GDP, though the contraction was far better than expected, but there is still contraction. So we're looking at how this news would affect the DAX. So there's the DAX that I've put there, the German 30, and I was going to be looking at other Euro stocks because we're done with Euro. Euro is already showing some shedding. The euro currency is already showing some form of weakness. Don't think that it could be lasting. You know, I think they could be trading. I'm not happy that you guys that the euro is contracting. You know, though it was expected to contract. So yeah, that's what it is. What would you like us to look at? I can see that you guys are joining late after having your coffee. I'm trading with mine in my desk. So there we go. What would you like to look at? So you are looking at the DEX right now. Beautiful chart. These are the type of charts that you may not see anywhere else. Even if the market can try to run away with us, it will always give some signal, some sign of where it's going and how it gets there. There it is. There we found some nice ABCD pattern of the DAX. The DAX is 100 points away from its target after the pullback of March, April. So that's what it's doing right now. Thank you, Cabello. I will be looking at the gold right now. Though gold is not necessarily related to the London session, but I will. So in this case, the DAX, the German 30 is just about 100 points from its target, but it may shy away from that 100-point first. It may look like it wants to drop first, right? It may look like it just wants to drop first. Let me just show that again. That is a drop that I'm seeing, that this move does not look proper at all. So, but whether it's going to drop to the level that I'm showing, I'm not sure. But all I know is that the euro is in desperate need of a correction. Rather, not the euro, but the DAX. German 30, it has come to the profit-taking levels. If there are short traders, they could be called in now, while the other guys are taking their money and running away. So that may not be the final level. I would rather be buying right there, and waiting for it to be going to the 800, because it's targeting the 15.8, 15,800. Okay, so that's why it is. When I use the theory of AB equals to CD, which is what I think this guy it's on. Right, that's exactly what I'm looking at. So that's the DEX. DEX done. And now, before I can go to the gold, how will the Hong Kong finish? The Hong Kong seems to be wanting to be taking over from the DEX. The Hong Kong 450, for me, reviewing indices, it has set itself up very nicely for a bullish move. I think there is something that is cooking right now in Hong Kong. Whatever it is, it looks yummy. I love it. Right. I love that Asian recipe that is happening right now. We'll wait until it breaks that pennant that is bullish. What a move from there, parabolic move. The Asian markets are looking good. Let me just tell you, the Asian markets are looking much good. The European markets have come to the top. There is another rally of the Frank 40. Okay, there's another rally of the Frank 40. They should be very happy that they have run like this and without retesting. But this price can be called for a retest during the fall of the German DAX. So this kind of move can be the one that can call back the German DAX. Recall basically. It's not the step aside rule. It's a recall rule. What a buy! They are very well defended. The Frank 40, the stock of France, is very well defended. What a stock! I'm loving that one. I think any time that it should be coming backward, I will be buying this with no doubt at all. Definitely get ready for a further rally. The stocks are looking good generally, not just this ones. The money seems to be going to stocks more than to currencies. I must emphasize that. And also crypto, while the cryptocurrencies are still taking a break, that's what we see, right? Could it be that that's what the Frank 40 seems to be looking like? The Euro 50, it's definitely moving, grinding slowly to the upside. It's a small grind, this one. I will give it to them that the grind should work. I think that they are targeting, this happens, and this is a kind of market I don't like, because the market will grind slowly, but I know but we all know the target. It is targeting the top, just the top of this shaded area of mine. That is where it's targeting. But then the problem is entering trades like right now. If you enter now, your risk is pretty big, because then it could drop on anything to where you could be. So that's why you don't. It's exactly in the middle. This is 50-50, and I don't. 50-50 is not what we trade, We don't trade 50-50. We trade 90-10, 90% probability, 10% less probability, 90-10. This is a 50-50, and 90-10 should be at the bottom. So if this can come back to the bottom and find this point, your chances of it of catching the trade, right, will be absolutely correct. In this case, you are going to be taking more for less. So I like that part, 90-10 rather, not 80-20 no. So 50-50 I don't like. Right in the middle of the channel, 50% to go, 50% to go to the downside, or you can say 60-40, 60% to go, 40% of the downside. If you don't mind, you can go with it. It is crossing some form of a support resistance right there. So you can, I mean, those who have got risk appetite enough, this candle of this 4 hour is the one that could be taking it up to the upside. So in this case, to correlate with the Frank 40, there it is. That's the Frank 40 correlation. So we do now expect that these guys should be going to the upside and continue grinding. It's a grind, it's a grind. Just to go and touch that guy right there at the top should be very ready to drop. So the franc, the Euro 50 is targeting 40. We are now at 4,100 points, and it is now targeting 4,200 points before the drop. Would it be a big drop? No, sir. It won't be a big drop. It would be coming to the very same demand that it has made before, somewhere there. I don't think that it has retested this point pretty well. So if I can go to the dailies, time frames, I could be seeing that this area there remains a demand area for the franc, either this one or this point. Mr. Morera is watching me, he's going to be saying, where will coach put that supply, rather that demand area? So let me check on the dailies to check exactly where the bullish engulfs could it be at. Now I can see, no, definitely it's going to be somewhere where it cancelled there, where it cancelled the bearish, the supply zone. The supply zone there was completely cancelled, and this area now could be the new demand. Let me go back to H4. There's the area. Yes. Right. So it could be dropping from there, finding that area, coming there. I think that's where again it could be finding the support. There it is. Finding the support. So that's how we look at it. Right. So this is the Frank 40. You don't trade them all. I know you guys many people seems to be loving the Nasdaq, so but does not mean that we cannot trade other indices. Right. So that's the Euro 50 and that is the Frank 40. Apologies. And then the Asian markets are all looking positive. I like them. The Hong Kong 50 and the Japanese here and the Nikkei are looking absolutely marvelous from the point of bullishness. I'm liking that. A small breakout is what we're waiting for on the side of the small breakout is what we're waiting for. Otherwise, would it drop further? I don't think so. With the Hong Kong 50 already looking like it's at the bottom of its channel. I don't see the Japanese Nikkei. I don't see the Nikkei. I think it could hold this resistance, and being assisted by other Asian markets, it may as well break out. But we're waiting for the breakout. We will be riding with it on the retest of the same support of the flag, and then we're going to be making, it's going to be an awesome trade. I'm not giving signals yet, but it's going to be an awesome one. Trust me. Beautiful. That's how it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. Right. So Kabelo has said that you need to look at gold, at the price of gold. Kabelo, don't know if the London session has got way too much to do with the gold price. Remember, when we trade sessions, we're trying to look at what the session brings, into the market, So we always have got to establish that those who trade sessions are looking at instruments and pairs which they are impacted a lot during that session. So gold is tradable in all sessions, but gold truly moves a lot or generally moves a lot during the New York session. Just know that we associate gold with the price of the dollar. So in this case, then we will allocate it to the New York session. So yes, gold is part of our New York session portfolio for review and to be traded if you're talking about analysis of session. So please, Kabza, don't forget to, thank you. So please don't forget to join the New York session, because we're going to be looking at the euro dollar. The most of the correlators of gold we will consider when we look at the New York session. So those breakouts are very important for good entries. By the way, if you are a session trader, you really are looking for breakouts. You can see that I'm just coming from I just viewed and still are looking at the Nikkei, the Japanese 225. There's no breakout. So a good trader would therefore sometimes monitor this in session. So the Asian session is just winding up now. So Tokyo is winding, and during the Tokyo session, that resistance is still held. So money did not come in. So there's no fresh capital. But those that have bought those 225 top companies of Japan, they're still holding to their buys. They're holding to their buys, but we are still waiting for new money to be coming into the Japanese top 225. Then from the Nikkei would start rallying. But if they don't, and those guys are holding on for a long time, holding that resistance, they may say, guys, we are waiting for the bars that will never move. They are highly likely to drop that price there with small profit and go to markets that move. That's what I'm talking about. So they may choose to take the price down. They may choose to say, no, guys, let's take profit there and let's run to the markets that pay. Then they may be going to the Hong Kong 50. They may be taking their monies to the Nasdaq. They may be taking their monies to others while they're waiting for these companies to get that capital. That's how we do the equity or the stock indices. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And then I will still look at gold, though it belongs to that. If there's any other pair, guys, there it is. Let me just, before I can go to gold, I'm just going to be showing you what I'm talking about, that there is something that does not look right on the German DAX. And you can see that on the same intraday basis, there it is. I mean, you can see the selling that is beginning to happen right now. Why? It is because these are high levels. You rather they just waited for the guys to come pumping, the hype, the sentiments that entered the market in the morning. They rushed the market up, and the profit takers could not wait to say that we have gained about 3% more from yesterday's. Look at the pin bar. Look at the hourly pin bar. These levels are not the levels to be bought. I am very, very, very cautious. These are the levels that shows that we are in desperate need of correction. Desperate need. The DAX, the German 30, is not. It's not a bad stock to have. Rather, it's not a bad index to have, but not at this time. So the best time to be trying to have that, I would try it, as I'm saying. I would try, and I will be monitoring it on a fundamental basis again, but I will be interested to buy the Nasdaq back again at this demand. This demand level still remains untested, and now I would love it. Indeed, I would love to have something there around that demand level that remains untested with a gap up. I'm seeing a gap up right there. There's the 4-hourly demand. What a demand. And there was even a gapping up of the market right there. I would not be interested to be buying the market that is saturated with buyers. I would like them to be reduced in numbers, but still keep the trend. And that's where the buy could come in handy. There is the buy of the H4 hour, of the 4-hourly demand. I should be happy to buy there. The stop loss should be tightly below the other swing point. Then go straight to the 15.8. Nice one. The movement would be nice and short. The top of my rectangle is the buy. The bottom of my rectangle is a sell. That is the risk that I would personally recommend. I don't know. We could be looking at this again at the next session. Do look something like this. I would be looking at something like this. The top of this is the buy. The bottom of it is a sell. And then from there, let me check how many times will this go in. I think it's going to be 2.5. Right. So that's the first. That's the second. 1:3. Wow. Perfect 1:3. Perfect 1:3 should be happy. Take my money and go. Even before it can hit that 15.8, I would be out. I mean, 15.7, I'll leave. I mean, from 15.4, it's about 300 points to the upside. So that's how it is. So be happy with those. You know, that's how it is. That is the German 30. Is there another euro index, please, guys? It must not be US. We are not in a US session. We are in a euro session. Pound, euro markets, euro stocks. You know, it must not be anything related to South Africa. South Africa is also open, by the way. The JSE is open. I would love to really break down the JSE for some favorite television channels here, which are just making some advice. All right. If you would not like us to look during the session and look at how we're doing with the indices, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. So right. So let's do that. Let's look at now the gold, as I promised, you know, just for the sake of Kabza, who's following us nicely. He said our analysis are always on point. Appreciate Kabza. KB, thank you so much. Let's break it down some more. Where will I find the gold? The gold I should find under my default setups. Let me see if I can find something there. Right. I don't see anything yet under metals. I think gold I traded pretty much everywhere anyhow. Market overview, gold. Not on this one. It could be under my real, yeah, because it was part of our signal. Yeah, bro. Kabza, I'm not gonna change this. I will look at it in terms of session. This session, whether this session has got an impact on it or not. I don't see any impact at all, you know, of this session. You know, gold still remains bullish. That's all I can tell you. So it means that we're expecting, there it is. It ran, you know, it really pulls back, you know, like this. The same thing it does. I like when something is so predictable, you know, go down just like this and then bang, go to the upside again, you know. So gold still looking positive to go to look for wave number 5. You know, where will it find it? For the sake of Kabelo, guys, I'll be dealing with it. I can still look at gold again, you know, later on today. So it looks like gold is going back to the 1950s, 1910s. So that's how it is. Where is the price now? 1810. Some 20, some 200 points to the upside. Looks like it. Yeah, that's what it is. So there it is. Yeah, I'm just seeing something bullish here, nothing else, you know, just nothing else, not just something bullish there. Right, so this does not respect that, but even if it can go to the downside, still looks bullish. Right, so that's gold for me. Right, let's say this resistance is still holding, but still forming some form of a shoulder there, which shoulder can still take the price to the upside, a small shoulder to the upside. Looking bullish until such time, until when? Meaning that if you're selling an opportunistic sell, there's no problem with that. You can still be opportunistic for as long as you know what you're doing. So, but I would not be interested in selling gold during this heavy momentum that started on Friday. So until then, I'm just gonna be trading it definitely I will just only be trading it only when it comes to below the support. You know, it must break the support. Then it's gonna be a big signal for everybody, because gold has been rallying for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken now, if not 3. Gold has been killing. I mean, if you calculate this from this, still the same rally that started somewhere in 2015, 6 years of rally. So there has to be 7th year next year, then we need to have a break. If I need to break it down according to the cycle, join some of our courses, then you can see. In fact, I don't want to even lie to you. We don't train for free on cycles and structure, correlation and confluence. Right. So that's what it is. I don't know, Mr. Indicator, if there are other questions. I've already stripped or gone above the minutes, because I could see most of the guys, they might have gotten the message late. We started the session just about an hour ago. So we've been 1 hour now in the London session. drinking our coffee, and then doing others. Is there any other chart that you'd like us to look at? What are you looking at? What's happening with your portfolio? What's happening with your trading? Which pair kicked you this week, yesterday? Which pair kicked you last week? Did you see what went wrong? Do you review after that? How do you trade sessions? Why is it important that you must go to a session? Funani, what do you want when you trade a session? I think that's going to be key. We're showing you on when you trade sessions, what do we look for? Many of the traders have got trading rooms. They look at the session, but what are you looking for? As I said, the general theory of trading sessions is breakout trading. There is just no any other theory of trading sessions except breakout. So we are generally retest traders, but if you want to try some breakout, then we can help you to do responsible breakout trading. All right. Breakout trading is like drag racing, so you need to do it very responsibly. So in that instance, if you've got any other pair that you'd like us to look at in the next 10 minutes, we'll do that. All right. So we have already broken down the pound. There's no news between now and the London session. That is why I'm just warning you. That's why we're here. There's no any other further news between now and the London session. The London session started on a negativity. All right. There is some demand that has come right now, or some nice buys, but will they keep this going? I don't think so. Right. GBP JPY, it's on the downside, but will they keep going? That's what we doubt. Will it keep going? Now getting flat now. You see, now it's getting flat. Not too many buyers, not too many sellers. At the stage when it is vulnerable. All these are vulnerable stages, How do you know? You need to be keeping your resistance levels, especially of sessions, of the recent session. So in this case, this guy seems to be ending up right there. And if anything will try to take this price down, that's going to be for slaughter. You see, that's what you're looking at now, right? You're assuming that the support is broken, that the support of this pullback is broken. So it is going up. Okay, so this is something that takes the price down, this kind of pattern. T, it's a below T. I call them below T. All right, so hit the T, triple bot, triple top. Someone is saying triple top there. All right, so it still does look negative for the pound. Right, it still does look negative for the pound there. Okay, we thought it would be going up. Perhaps it could want to use this as a step and then go up and find this supply, which is what I had thought that it will go there during the session. So that sell limit was put during the session because I was hoping that the session could push it up there. So one is reviewing, but the market is flat that I should be wanting to commit. I don't want to commit in a flat market. So no commitment, but for the pound currently against the pound, against the euro, looking good against there was a big movement there against the Swiss franc and the yen. Wow, look at my chart on the yen. My goodness, this is the chart. That's exactly why I did not want to commit anything on GJ now, because the volatility must bring the price to the bottom of that W pattern. What a movement that would be. If the price can rock up there, the fall is going to be a classic one. All right, it's expected to be a classic one. There's my T as I speak about it again, and the price is below the T. The T is the crossing of the supports, and we check which direction is the price. If the price was sitting on it, on this T, they say dot the I's, cross the T's. When I cross this T, if it was sitting on top of this, wow, I like it a lot when you sit on top of that, because that's a parabolic move. It looks like a leverage, like a lever there. So yeah, so this lever is pushing the price to the downside. I've analyzed this in the previous session of London. That's what it looks like right now. Last touch, the touch could be a very, very dangerous one for the pound. And we should be flocking back to the 161.8. Then we will be looking from there. It's a session analysis. So this session is not doing that badly. over time. You know, it does set a tone for the market. I can't just emphasize that. So if the pound goes up, great, you know, but if it goes down, I think it should be able to find some smaller nyana support right there, you know, just moving along. Don't call it very, very strong, but this can be broken, you know. This can be not easily, but it can be broken depending, because we're looking at a wave number 5 there. So we could be looking at one that could be A, B. Oh yeah, A, B, C. This could be a C for others. Let's see. Let's see the C, how it goes. But I would sell at the top, and then I'll be dropping to the down either to this point or even below. If it stops here, then it could take and go take its rightful place. As I said, the parabolic moves are above the T. You know, this T, it kicks, and the price can come here. You guys have not been around. If the price can sit here, oh yeah, and it's a market preview time. Yeah. We go there, you know, if it can do that. But now we don't have any setup like that. That's fine. So that's our T there, you know, holding that T support or resistance anchored by this long pole, you know, becomes very sweet. 2 minutes to go, guys. Otherwise, we're going to be meeting later today. Mr. Indicator will indicate whether we are going to be meeting. As my availability for today is that we can do the New York session from 4 o'clock. I prefer 4, though I would be still available between 2 and 3. But perhaps we can do it from 4, because this one is already gone. It's 12 o'clock already. So 2 hours is just here. So let's rather meet for the New York session. Don't miss. Share the link with others when you get the link. Let us share the knowledge together of the market, and let's see how this market can be killed by many people as one cat. Let's gang against it. So share the link, share the message. 4 o'clock. I think let's do it from 4 o'clock until 5 o'clock, 5:30. I'm good to do it until 5:30. If there's no load shedding, if load shedding does not affect us, we can all then go and watch the London session. The news are already going to be coming at what time? I'm going to show you right now. We are going to be having news coming in from 2:30. So by the time that we come at 4 o'clock, the news would be done, and we'll be able to look at what has happened during those news, right? So we have got goods and services trade balance and goods trade balance coming from the US at 2:30 today. And then from there, in fact, it's happening in 2 hours, 30 minutes at 2:30. And then from there, I will be coming through, unless if Mr. Marora can start before me, then I'll be coming through just about 4 o'clock or so to take it from there and take it to the next level for an hour or 1 hour, 30 minutes, looking and chopping the markets together. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining us on this week's London session trading. Until we meet again later today, have a good time. Look at those, and then from there, let there be pips between now. Oh, suddenly you are very late. We are gonna be meeting at the New York session in about 4 hours from here. So let me go have my cup of coffee, and as I look at how the London will, if the London gives me something, I will pop something again. Just keep watching the Opulence FX and the Let There Be Pips Facebook pages. If something pops, we'll definitely know. Until then, let us meet during the London session, and it's going to be at 4 o'clock. If you're going to be traveling from work, we will try to push it until 4:30. If now you arrive home after 5:30, I don't know. We'll try to push until 5:30. So, but if the market becomes too nice, then we can also push until 6 o'clock, because 6 o'clock we're supposed to be doing today we need to be doing that free mentorship for our intermediate and our primary traders. So, but we will set up the meeting, and then from there we'll send the link for the training that will happen tonight we will see if the load shedding from my side affects me. We will post another date, but we will be doing it anytime from 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. It's going to be for primary traders or for beginners and for intermediate traders. And tomorrow we are doing for advanced. No, there's no training tonight. The training is tomorrow. Sorry. Training is tomorrow on Wednesday, primary and intermediate Wednesday. And then Thursday, we have got advanced, and then from the Friday, we are back again here for the London session, 10 o'clock, and for the New York session, 3 o'clock. Okay, until then, cheers.